Imagine not being able to read the paper because your hands were shaking. Imagine not being able to read newsprint as your world faded to black. The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. Monthly Report. With your host, Lee Martin, and co-host, Florence Myers-McSwine.
Welcome to this week's National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. And we are talking about NFB Newsline, its services, and who uses this service. Now, we know that Newsline services includes 460 newspapers, magazines, TV guide listings, Walmart Target circulars. It includes magazines, and it's used by people who are blind, visually impaired, and otherwise print challenged. And there are various ways we use this service. It's through the use of our iPhone, our mobile phone, landline, Victor Reader Stream, our computer, as well as the digital player from our Talking Book and Braille library. And with this service, we know that it is free, and that is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
One of the great things about the service is that, as indicated, it is a free service, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And it's accessed by quite a few people in the state of Indiana, as well as around the country. You do have to be a U.S. citizen. The service is available for those that are blind, print challenged, those with certain forms of dyslexia, and even now those individuals that are blind and deaf. So that community also can use this free service. A lot of people love to read the Wall Street journals, the Times, the Associated Presses. In our breaking news segment, we have the ABC, the BBC, the CNN, Fox News, Huffington Post, and a plethora of other breaking news publications that individuals love to read. Our students, college students and high school students, love to use this service to cover current events. It does a great job with that. A lot of seniors love to read the service. A lot of seniors have been transplanted to different portions of the country, and they like to read about what's going on in their hometown. We find this to be a magnificent service and very exciting service, and it expands itself to our youth, our children. You know, we do have a magazine out there now called Stone Soup that children love to read from, that is written by children from around the world. It's a great service, so we want you to pay attention to the screen and our commercials as they have the information and our contact information as to how to go about contacting us. We're going to take a short break, and we're going to be right back with our guests with some very compelling realities of her journey with blindness. So stay tuned.
I'm Danny Wayne Beamer, Program Manager of the Elder Blind Program at the Will Center in Terre Haute, Indiana. I introduced the NFB Newsline to seniors in 13 southwestern counties in Indiana. I also utilize the NFB Newsline for my radio station public affairs shows. The NFB Newsline, experience it today.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
If you or someone you know is visually impaired or print challenged, the National Federation of the Blind has a resource you need.
Wow, I scored a touchdown when I found sports on NFB Newsline.
I enjoy reading TV guide listings on NFB Newsline.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
We are the nation's blind. We read NFB Newsline.
It's free.
We want to welcome our guest back to the National Federation of the Blind Newsline Indiana show. Ms. Rhonda Chapman, thank you for coming on again and sharing your reality with us. Your road to independence, you know, we talked about your trials and how you have overcame losing your sight within a 10-day period. Man, that had to be drastic for you as well as your family. Thanks for sharing that with us, and for our viewers and listeners, you can check that out on our YouTube site by going to our YouTube page and finding that information. So, Ms. Chapman, okay, so, you know, you're the ophthalmologist and optometrist and all the professionals, you know, they kind of were baffled too, huh?
Yes, you know, Rhonda being Rhonda, I have to be a little special. Have to do things a little different. I was told that my condition, pseudotumor cerebri, generally happened to middle-aged white women. And I said, really? Because I'm a 37-year-old black woman. And I have this condition. So, you know, I just have to be different. You know, I have to stretch the envelope there, step out of the box a little bit. But in all honesty, as trying as it was, I knew I couldn't cave. I couldn't cave, I couldn't fold, I couldn't curl up on the couch and call it quits, because that's not who I am. That's not who I was as a person at that time. We're talking 2001. I asked the Lord to give me an opportunity that even with my blindness, to reach more people than I ever thought possible, and to make a difference in more lives than I ever would have before. Now, flash forward, now I manage the retail store at Bosma Enterprises in the corporate building. I manage 500 square feet of fabulous, and I handle devices and things that the blind and visually impaired need to live a successful, safe, day-to-day life. Those are the kind of products we sell. So I purchase the products, I sell the products, I meet people. I've been a United Way torchbearer for 9 years, and they sent me all over Indianapolis, all over Marion County, sharing about United Way and Bosma and their missions. I've met people everywhere. Then I became a member of Toastmasters International. Toastmasters International is exactly that. It's a training and development program to help people enhance their speaking skills, their leadership skills, and we have clubs all over the world. And so you have the world covered with Toastmasters International. You have the state, you have the province, you have your city. I'm doing speeches. I have platforms now, and I've shared my vision and my philosophy to hundreds and thousands of people that I never would have met if it was not for pseudotumor cerebri. So, do I enjoy being blind? No, not so much. It's just a step along the way. But is the blindness going to stop me from being fulfilled, from being useful, from being a productive citizen? Never. I will never stop. I will never give up, because I stand on the motto that I believe. Believe stands for because Emmanuel lives. I, Rhonda, expect victory in every situation.
All right now.
Because Emmanuel lives, I expect victory over my blindness. I expect victory over children, grown children who may be on their, they're on their sojourning training. They're not walking in the path that I would prefer. I expect victory over finances. I expect victory over sickness. I expect victory over every obstacle that comes my way. And I get a chance to tell that to more people possible than I ever thought possible. And I wholeheartedly stand on it and believe it. Believe.
I tell you what, that is so compelling, because there's individuals that need to hear that and may be curling up today with the situation and saying, well, I don't know which way to turn. But the faith that you have and the faith that we all have, we share that same faith.
Exactly.
And because we're blind, we're not the woe is me type individuals.
Exactly.
And it is a pleasure. Now let's go back to yourself. I know that you and Florence both are women that like to take care of yourselves.
Definitely.
Here, both of you go to the nail shop, you get your hair done.
Oh,
and
yes.
You care about your clothing, there's people out here that want to know what I call the how yous. How you do all this? Tell me, how do you know? What colors you want, and you kind of help us out.
Well, that is a good question. That is an excellent question. And like you said, I had 37 years of sight. So therefore, I know colors, I know fabrics, I know textures, I know what I like. And fortunately, in the coming up, I've just celebrated my 34th year of wedding anniversary. So in all those years, coming along the way, I have trained up Eddie in the way he needs to go.
Now, Eddie's your husband,
He's
right?
my husband
Okay,
for 34 years. He's been
okay.
trained, honey. He is an expert. He can walk into a store and find exactly what I may like. It may not even be what he likes, but he knows what I like. For example, this ensemble I have on today is Ming Wang. What I love about Ming Wang knits is machine washable, woolite, cold water, wash it, hang it up, let it dry. Looks perfect every time. You can mix and match the world. I call it adult Garanimals. I told Eddie that today. I said, I got on one of my adult Garanimal outfits, but it's comfortable, I love it, and it looks perfect all the time. Just because I can't see doesn't mean I want the world to see something undone. You know what I mean? I cared about my appearance. I took care of myself before I lost my sight. Absolutely nothing has changed, except Florence and I do have that blind card that, when the need arises, we can pull it out. Because you got to play all the cards in your deck. You got to know when to hold them and when to fold them, when to walk away and when to run. You got to know. So every now and then, I might run out of the house, for a quick little trip to Walmart, and I just played the blind card. I just don't even care. Usually it's on my off day. Wednesdays is my off day, so I dressed up for you, Lee. I dressed up for you, Florence. Normally, I just go to the closet, grab some jeans, a T-shirt, and I don't care what it looks like because it's my day. I don't have to worry about it. But yeah, you still get your hair done. You still get your nails done. Take care of yourself.
Pamper yourself.
Pamper yourself. Do what makes you feel good. Do what makes you feel good. It doesn't hurt anyone, and it's perfectly normal. It's perfectly normal, especially for divas like us.
Divas like you two.
Yeah, divas like us.
Well, we're gonna take a pause on that diva thing quick, and it's my pleasure to be sitting between two blind divas. So we'll be right back after this break.
thousands of Indiana residents feel isolated from the world due to vision problems. Thanks to the National Federation of the Blind, visually impaired Hoosiers can hear newspapers, circulars, and magazines from across the globe.
I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm blind. I read Stars and Stripes on NFB Newsline.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline.
We are the nation's blind, and we read NFB Newsline.
As I travel the nation, I read NFB Newsline.
I live in Valparaiso, Indiana, and I listen to my local news on NFB Newsline.
As a student, I enjoy reading current events on NFB Newsline.
Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
Subscribe free to NFB Newsline today.
Welcome back to the last segment of the National Federation of the Blind Newsline. And we've been sitting here having a conversation about things that are going on in the community, about services that were there and no longer there, and resources that are actually not very resourceful for the blind. So perhaps we can just sit and talk about that just for a minute, because we know that there's people losing their sight all the time, and they may not be eligible now for a service that was, such as a homemaker service that was there for the blind. And now what? Now what do they do? Where do they go? So let's talk about that for a minute.
Go ahead, Rhonda.
Well, it's really a sad situation, because when they decided in the state of Indiana to do away with that homemaker classification, that introduced people to rehabilitation. That opened the door for the person to get off the couch and to come to centers, like Bosma Enterprises for rehabilitation, and be trained on how to do Braille, on how to use the computer again, on how to use mobility, and to be able to just get their life jump-started again.
Yeah.
I mean,
restored hope.
Yeah, restored the hope. If it wasn't for the training that I received when I went through back in 01, 02, I really would not be where I am today. And so we need to contact our legislators. We need to pick up the phone and make those calls to just make them aware. We need to contact vocational rehabilitation and remind them of the services that are needed. I mean, there are services out there if you are interested in going back into the work field, or if you're interested in going on to higher education. But there is a population there that's middle of the road. They don't really know which way they want to go, but what they do know is they have to be able to walk safely from one block to the next. They have to be able to use the microwave and the stove independently and safely at home. There is that step that is needed before you can even think about employment. Before you can even go to a college campus, and so how you can skip over step 1 and go to step 3, I don't understand.
Yeah, to get through what you're going through, is, that initial onset of sight loss, or even with a disability.
You need the adjustment counselor, you need all of that.
Yeah, you need that, I mean, just to accept the cane and the tools that we have, to overcome the initial onset of your condition, your new life that you got to travel. And, with this new order of selection is what they're calling it, and those with the what they consider the most severe conditions actually get services first, and it's something that's on our federal level and our state level that really needs to be readdressed or looked into, and it all basically boils down to money. And hiring individuals that can work in rehabilitation services and at a reasonable rate, at their professional rate, so that they can keep those individuals and so that they can go out into our society as social workers and do what they do. So that's just one of the many problems that we have in our blind and visually impaired community. And, you know, just overcoming, you know, your situation, Rhonda, my situation, and Florence's situation. We're just a few in this big old ocean that are working to change what it means to be blind and changing the misperceptions of the conditions of blindness, because we like to be in the workplace. We like to work in mainstream. Our children love to go to mainstream schools and get some of the same education and be colleagues along with individuals when they become adults.
Right.
You know, so.
And you have to have that training. You have to have that foundation. And they really, Indiana, as a state, generally has been a leader in disability services, and we need to maintain that and to stretch that, and they need to come back to the basics. Back to the basics.
You know, and our legislator, we had a legislator on, and he indicated that, you know, if you don't bring your issues to them, then they do not know of them. And you know, it's up to us as advocates to bring those issues forth and be that consistent, factual
voice.
voice. Yeah, that is so true.
I mean, the State House is our house. You know, the White House is our house. We're citizens, we're taxpayers, we're voters. You know, they work for us. You know, we can't allow ourselves to get caught up in the hierarchy thing. You know, they work for us. They're public servants, and we do have to remind them.
Yeah, and it's true that this administration is not a friend of people with disabilities. The ADA, American Disabilities Act, is under attack by this administration as well. And we do have a lot of advocates out there, and we will be having them continue to come onto this show to express those ideas on how we can make a change. So that people can have equality, opportunity, and security for the blind and disabled in our communities.
No.
So, yes, ma'am.
You know, I'm listening to, you're talking about legislatures and things like that, and I'm thinking about the people right now that are coping with blindness right now, and that's think that their life is over, and that doesn't, you know, don't understand that there's still life after blindness. And you have to understand that we have to take it one day at a time.
Yes.
Sometimes you take it a minute at a time, but we get there. We get there.
And we're going to get to our break. And we're to conclude our show, you know, as time runs out. So we'll be right back to conclude our show.
The National Federation of the Blind knows that blindness is not the characteristic that defines you or your future. Every day we raise the expectations of blind people because low expectations create obstacles between blind people and our dreams. You can live the life you want. Blindness is not what holds you back.
We want to welcome you back to the show, the National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. And we're concluding our show and our conversation with Ms. Rhonda Chapman. Rhonda, it has been a great show, and we just want to thank you again for coming out and sharing so much information from your trials to your triumphs and to your reality. You have been a great inspiration.
Thank
now,
you.
there's individuals that we were talking about that are still at home, without any real direction, no motivation maybe. We want to reach out to those individuals and, you know, give us a little outreach there.
Well, start with something that you feel passionate about and contact 211. They can connect you with a lot of agencies that can help you. One agency, well, it's not an agency, but the Indiana State Talking Book Library, they have the entire Library of Congress at their fingertips to help you, to assist you. They will send the books to you. It's a free service. Contact Bosma Enterprises for their rehabilitation help. They have some free services that they can offer to you. They can get you connected to vocational rehabilitation to help you. If you just need a uplifting thought, Bible Study Fellowship is a nice free service organization you could join to help you. Stay connected. Do not isolate yourself. You have to stay connected. You gotta stay in touch with the world. Do not give up. You are not alone. Reach out and talk to someone.
And in talking with someone, we don't want to forget organization, the National Federation of the Blind is here, a great organization that promotes independence and advocacy as well. And there are some agencies, other agencies out there. INAPSE is also another agency that's very good in advocacy and employment for people with different disabilities.
Yes.
And basically just connect with other people, connect with your family.
And I would also say connect with the Governor's Planning Council for people with disabilities, as well as if you're a veteran, you want to contact the Veterans Administration with the Visual Impairment Service Team Coordinator at the VA. And once again, with the National Federation of the Blind, you can always go to our website, www.nfb.org. So there's a lot of information there. And we also have nfb-in.org website that you can visit for resourceful information. So Wanda, thank you once again for coming on to our show. We appreciate you and continue to do the great work. We'll be right back next week and trust that you enjoy watching our show. Take good care. God bless.
The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. For more information, go to nfb-in.org or call 855-963-6476. That's 855-963-6476. The National Federation of the Blind encourages you to live the life you want.